So we've learned a little bit about categorical statements, kind of how to write them and how to classify them. But now we begin to use what are called squares of opposition. A square of opposition is basically there's two types. There's one in which there is a existential assumption, and there's one in which there's not an existential assumption. And basically the idea there is if you make an existential assumption, the existential assumption says that if something like all A are B, that you are making an assumption that you wouldn't say all of something to something else unless there is something that exists in the first place in that category. So if I saw all A or B, then I can then draw from that some A or B. But that some A or B is making an existential claim. It's saying that is something that exists that is a B, that is an A, that is also a B. And so basically, if you don't make that assumption, like I could make a statement like all unicorns have a horn, and no unicorns exist. So I'm not, by saying all unicorns have horns, am I making a claim that there exists some. And so some people say you can't have that existential assumption. Based upon whether or not you accept an existential assumption, you can have different levels of inference from those. And this is all about how you can make those inferences and how you can draw things from that. And it's just basically very simple drawing from basically all A or B to drawing to something else. We are going to skip the section on 4.4 on conversion of version and contraposition, because I think those begin to get a little bit just too tedious, a little bit too technical, and I don't think that they do us a lot of good. That I think that's part of why people sometimes find this very difficult, is when you introduce in too many concepts, and I think that's one of those. So we're going to skip that. And so in 4.5 and 4.6, if they refer back to conversion of version and contraposition, just realize that you can kind of skip that. But that part is not necessary to get the key ideas.